How many discounts does USAA Auto Insurance offer? Too many to say here. Multi-vehicle discount, safe driver discount, new vehicle discount, storage discount, legacy.
How many discounts will you stack up? Tap the banner or visit usaa.com/auto discounts. Restrictions apply.
LifeLock, how can I help?
The IRS said I filed my return, but I haven't.
1 in 4 tax-paying Americans has paid the price of identity fraud.
What do I do?
My refund, though.
I'm freaking out.
Don't worry, I can fix this.
LifeLock fixes identity theft guaranteed and gets your money back with up to $3 million in coverage.
I'm so relieved.
No problem. I'll be with you every step of the way.
1 in 4 was a fraud-paying American. Not anymore. Save up to 40% your first year. Visit LifeLock.com/podcast. Terms apply.
It's really cool.
Bonjour, hello, and welcome to the Rosbiff Rugby Podcast, your one-stop shop for all things French rugby. The top 14 Pro de Nationale, Champions and Challenge Cups, Les Bleus, French national team, and of course, most importantly of all, the brilliant towns, cities, bars, restaurants, people, fans, stadia, everything that makes the French rugby experience the thing we know and love. Rob, it's been a couple of weeks since I've done that intro. First crack. I've happy with that. How have you been? How was your Easter?
Yeah, quite busy. In terms of just getting stuff done, like seeing people moving around. Yeah, I think we kind of nice to be back in our own beds last night in a way, but yeah, very enjoyable all the same. Kind of flew by. Don't know how restful it was, but enjoyable. How about you? So you got back yesterday? No,
back Sunday. Yeah, got back Sunday evening. Fantastic time in Italy. It was it was a wicked trip. Had a great time around kind of Garda and went to Verona and a few other little spots around there, which was beautiful. And then Treviso. What a place. Yeah, absolutely stunning little city. Managed to hop on the train to Venice, which was like one of the maddest places I think I've ever been. Like utterly beautiful, but also the most touristy place, like without a shadow of a doubt. Albeit with some absolute gems in there as well. And then Benetton, Cardiff, Stade Communal de Montego. Some lovely food, wine. Yeah, very, very good time had by all.
What was the food at the Montego?
So I had, which it must be said was pretty good, a porchetta, like I'd call it like probably a bap would be the best thing to describe it as.
Come on, mate, you've had a hog roast.
No, it was
porchetta ciabatta. Yeah, no, mate, you've had a hog roast. Stop trying to tart it up just because you've been in Italy for a week.
No, it wasn't a hog roast. The porchetta was very much like kind of sliced a bit more like a ham. So it's a lot thinner. But with like a sort of grilled tomato and a bit of salsa verde. It was
lovely.
Yeah, very, very agreeable.
That sounds very good.
Yeah, very reasonably priced. I think that was €9. That was the special. And then the drinks, you get it wasn't an Aperol spritz. It was cleverly named a rugby spritz. Which I thought was
genius.
Which was a nice, a twist on the classic.
Did Spritz and Scrums have they had any input into that? Or
I have no idea, but I enjoyed the simplicity of that for sure.
What was in a rugby spritz? Was it just like snake bite and?
No, sadly not. No, that would have been a real touch. Turbo Shandy. No, it was as far as I could tell, it was basically an Aperol, but very reasonable. I mean, everywhere we went, we found like incredibly well priced, maybe with the exception of Venice. But the ground itself, a spritz was €3.50.
What?
A Peroni was €5. I think a Guinness was €6. Ooh. But it was very very agreeable stuff. I'd recommend it to anyone. URC fan, obviously you get to go every couple of years, or if your team gets drawn in the Challenge or Champions Cup in future, it's a lot of fun.
How was the kind of the atmosphere, the après match? Aperto's open. I'm not gonna try and work out what it is Italian.
So we didn't
shop.
Oh yeah, so I'll take each of those one by one. We'll start off with the après match. We left pretty much straight away to get the last bus back into town, so couldn't tell you But given there were only about 3 of us on that bus, I imagine pretty good because it seemed like everyone was sticking about. The stash shop, yeah, pretty hectic. Picked myself up a very, well, I personally think a very nice hooped cotton Benetton rugby jersey for a snip €30, which is something I saw when I first went in. So pre-game, the shop was absolutely heaving, and they only had like size extra small boys and kind of. Yeah, I think that was pretty much it, to be honest.
4XL.
Well, not even that. There were no adult ones left. However, snuck back in only because the queue was too big before to buy a couple of T-shirts. And lo and behold, the stash gods had shone on us. Managed to sneak in ahead of a there was like I don't know how old they are, maybe like 15, 16. There was a kind of girls touring side from the States who were over there. Managed to elbow my way to the front of the queue to get into the get in. So yeah, that was good. They also two things for the stash shop. One is that they have effectively an actual United Colours of Benetton like section, which was like a kind of flash sale, like a sample sale of just clothes, you name it, like jeans,
just a pink polo,
jackets, like you name it, they were flogging it. And then the other thing is actually like it was really well priced, all the stuff in there. You could get like a plain Benetton hoodie for €25, that sort of thing, which is quite refreshing. What was the final question? Atmosphere and that kind of thing. In the ground, fantastic. I mean, I think it helped that particularly the second half, it was an absolutely wild game. Like Cardiff nearly kind of snuck it at the last, and yeah, it was a pretty phenomenal game of rugby. One thing I would say is, I mean, Treviso, the city, is beautiful, like an absolutely glorious place to bop around. You would not have known there was a professional rugby team there. You know, given they are the premier team in Italy. There is a Treviso basketball shop, an Adidas shop in the centre of town. There isn't like a rugby one. I think I saw one person in Treviso kit the whole time we were there. And then you get to the ground, it's absolutely bumping. So I don't know if people just go there for 6 hours before the game or kind of spawn from absolutely nowhere.
Like Argent.
Yeah, it was a little bit. I actually brought up Argent as the reference, but yeah, the only evidence you really saw were lots and lots of Cardiff fans who travelled in pretty good numbers, it must be said. But yeah, all told, fantastic. Yeah, fantastic little trip to add to the list.
I've been eyeing up the stash shop. You talking about your jersey, your kind of old school retro jersey? There is a CA Begler jersey that is for sale in a stash shop in Bordeaux. So I think it's like €79 though. I also think it's like one of those like retro, like a not real. I don't know whether it was ever how much it resembles a kit that was actually played in, but the kind of white and royal blue check quarters is a very nice jersey, and also the badge is sick. And also you can wear it and no. You've got to know what you're looking for to spot CABBG.
You just get a knowing winker and nod from those in the know.
I think I did actually see Squidge wearing one a few weeks back. I was like, ooh, commented. I've got no idea. I bet I was the only person commenting knowing what that shirt was. of his thousands and thousands of followers. Yeah,
exalted company. Well, I guess, Rob, one of the reasons you'll have an eye on that is you are, touch wood, heading down to. Well, you're going to be in the.
I'm going to be in Bordeaux.
You're going to be in Bordeaux this weekend to see what will. Well, I'd argue to date the game of the season. Hopefully, after the results of the weekend, Bordeaux versus Toulouse. Should we start on the way they got there first before we maybe talk about that briefly? Which game was first? It was Toulouse, wasn't it? On the Saturday
afternoon, yeah.
Against Bristol.
It was kind of quite a nice little, come back from a walk along the beach, have a cup of tea, bit of hot cross bun, and then just settle down for that. Or you could watch a little bit and then go to the pub like I did. But it was kind of quite a nice little time to settle down and watch a bit of rugby on Easter Saturday, I have to say.
Well, what you should have done is watch Treviso Cardiff and seen the fastest try of all time in European.
Yes, from Menoncello.
From Menoncello.
From a future Toulouse man.
There you go. Yeah, what a link. Toulouse Bristol, I guess, kind of went as expected. Well, I think both these
on
fixtures
men
went
and
as expected.
on men and cello, like I've said it before, who's going to play where? Calvin Gorge was gorgeous. He was amazing at 13, having because Barassi went off basically just after the try that Bristol scored, and Chocobarras came on and moved to 12, and then Gorge into 13. Right? Yeah, but I mean, he's just such a lovely player to watch, and not just it's like Henry Slade, isn't it? But just because he looks so sexy, everything else looks really sexy. But he does like some real nuts and bolts really well. The dummy for Calvin Gorge's try that's like a PlayStation dummy, isn't it?
Yeah, Tom Jordan is genuinely. Tom Jordan's in the Ernest Vallon, and they're playing in the Stade Toulouse. Like, yeah.
It's like a quick tap of the dummy button on the controller, and the opposition player goes because he doesn't really. It's just running straight and just It's a very, very simple dummy. He must be maybe he's done him with the eyes.
Maybe. They were pretty. I must say, I was watching another game of rugby at the time, but I did catch up on it afterwards, and they looked pretty irresistible to lose as has they threatened to do. I think we kind of both agree they maybe hadn't been at their utterly imperious best for a little bit, and some of the sides that they've brushed aside have been a little bit weakened and changed up when they've gone to Toulouse. But yeah, I mean, this game was dead within 35 minutes, if that.
Well, it was kind of like that because Bristol scored the first try, and so here we go, we might see something here, a bit like Castres on the Friday night, and then like they were kind of having it on with one eye on it. It's like, oh, Toulouse scored another try. Oh my God, Toulouse has scored another try. Toulouse celebrating another try there? Oh yeah, they are. 4 tries in, 19 minutes or something. Game's done at that point. And it's the speed with which they struck, and some of those maul tries, or like the way Willis goes over with a man in behind. I think it's either Flamont or Miafu kind of gets in, latches on, and they drive over like 5 meters. It's not like the extra meter to nudge him over. It's decent yards that he's latched on, and they've gained ground. And the maul try is from decent. It's so quick. The kind of the last 5 meters, the way they travel the last 5 meters. It showed. I know that we kind of saying last week, and we've said in the past, and perhaps I kind of said when I was kindly invited on Bears Beyond the Gate, I said, Toulouse don't have the most fearsome pack. They're not streets ahead in the same way that their backline is, but it's so easy to forget how physical they can be and how big especially when it's Miafu, but the power of like Malvaca and Willis and the guys you don't even think about that kind of big are proper like explosive power players. It was proper all court game stuff from Toulouse, wasn't it?
Yeah, I think that's it, isn't it? When it's one thing to be getting kind of torn apart from sides that are happy to move it around in their own 22, but when that's happening, plus you're getting battered by such a well-oiled front five, it's incredibly difficult. And I think there's no disrespect to Bristol to say that I think that would have happened to most teams on the day, the way they were clicking. In the backs as well, just two guys we've spoken a million times about Toulouse's strength in depth, and obviously they've got the biggest playing budget in Europe, I think, isn't it? But two guys who looked ridiculous, Labelle on one wing and Teddy Thomas on the other, who are not often the first choice wingers. Labelle's been part of the Champions Cup winning teams, and Teddy Thomas, obviously, his first. It was La Rochelle he was at last year, wasn't it? I've kind of forgotten that move is only fairly recent. Just looked. I mean, he's in such amazing form.
He's in really good form, yeah.
Two guys of they're two guys who would be, and again, this is no disrespect to anyone in any other league, but would be like two of the standout wingers in the Prem or in the URC, effectively coming in as injury replacements for. Capuozzo or maybe Malia, or they put Kinghorn on the wing sometimes with Ramos at 15, don't they? Ridiculous stuff. They both looked awesome and fun to watch as well. I love watching Labelle.
Yeah, I was glad because he's not been Thomas has been in fantastic form, but Labelle has not been kind of, even in the kind of weakened side, has not necessarily been a standout or first choice because they've kind of brought in some of the younger lads. But nice to see him return to form because he's just, I think he's such a brilliant all-round rugby player. It was nice to, it was almost like old school Labelle though, the kind of the feet, the pace, the acceleration off the mark is
There's a bit of chaos, isn't there, to the way he plays? I think like there's a
crazy,
little bit
it's like
of
crazy legs, isn't it?
Yeah. I love watching him when he's on form.
I also thought I feel like we're in the age of Thomas Ramos appreciation, and he was just magical. Like it's just so many little bits are so lovely to watch. His passing is the way he comes into the line. I think they scored just after half time, don't they? And it's just Ramos just hitting the line or taking it, like counter attacking with such pace and such clarity and precision. It's beautiful to watch. I'm enjoying the Thomas Ramos appreciation that's going around these days. Having said for years he's one of the best players in the world, it seems that people in the Northern Hemisphere at least might be starting to turn to that view. Yeah.
What a player. Anything else on Toulouse, or should we?
Well, still nothing. Still not like we've not had the complete Dupont show yet, which is ominous for everyone involved.
Yeah, that's very true. Still maintaining a pretty exceptional standard when he is playing. So that was Saturday afternoon. Sunday, your boys Leicester ran into Toulouse were imperious. I'm not entirely sure what the word is for some of the rugby that was played in the first half, in particular by Bordeaux, which I was watching mostly on my phone in the queue to get on the flight. And we know they've got that period in them. We know that they can do magic things. Ooh, some rugby there.
I am struggling, and obviously, why would you remember this? But I'm struggling to remember a game where it has been such one-way traffic in a first half. That is as one-way traffic as a game of rugby or a half of rugby can go. It was relentless. And it wasn't like Leicester barely had any territory. Yes, they made a few mistakes, but Bordeaux were just playing some electric stuff. And it properly felt like they were going to score or make loads of yards every time they got the ball. It was blistering, some blistering attack. Talking about like the age of appreciation for Thomas Ramos and just all the little things that a player does that are magical. The fact that no one's really even talking about Jalabert after this game, because it shows you how good BLBRA and Rayassi were and Peno at 13 was, but also ridiculous because Jalabert was glorious, absolutely magical. I did see something that like some of the top 14 coaches were asked to rate Entermac and Jalabert, who they would have. And it was 6-4 to Entermac. I'm like, what is this like? Is there some sort of mirage going on where people just don't see what Jalabert's doing, or like Shallow How, where like people see Entermac and they actually see kind of Wilkinson Carter rolled into one? Don't know.
Yeah, there is still something there, isn't there, that coaches obviously love about the kind of maybe the controlling element of Entermac. But yeah, Jalabert was princely. The guy you mentioned there, Rayassi, like what a season he's having. Incredible player.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, I think everyone knew he was class and he looked really good at Van at points last year. But there are times where he's almost looking, were it not unfortunately for him, for BLBRA and Jalabert and one or two others, like he's almost looking like their best player. He's remarkable. Louis BLBRA, I don't know what more there is to say other than the solo try he scores. Was it was just before half time, I think, was it?
Yeah.
I struggling to think of a better individual winger's try. It was kind of giving me maybe not quite the same, but I was thinking, I remember like Rupeni Thao back in the 2003 World Cup, but it's just, he seems to be like almost game by game taking what he's doing to just totally different levels. It's it's just an utter pleasure to watch.
Yeah, I think that's the thing for me, BLBRA, is that the consistency with which he does it, the consistency with which he is scoring rapid, like solo tries that are showing his pace. that is what we've never seen before, I don't think, is someone that has that raw materials or that talent, and you see it basically every time he plays. There's no one has shackled him. No one has kind of been able to quieten him down or make him have an off day. Which I feel like if you're a winger, there's been wingers in the past where you can snuff them out, or like you mentioned, someone like Thao or Ngenwa, or all these rapid guys. There's a weakness in there that teams have exploited, or they've managed to make them have an off day, or someone like Nadolo, or Tuolangi, Alassana Tuolangi back in the day. These guys could be unstoppable on their day, but you can't stop them. And no one seems to be able to stop BLBRA. It's just, the consistency with which he's doing it is mind blowing.
Yeah, and I think as well the thing that's so cool in both the solo try and then the one he sets up for Reyes is we've been really used to. I think I mentioned it at the end of the Six Nations. I'm really enjoying watching, like, in the age of a little bit the work rate off your winger. I've kind of enjoyed BLBRA being this, like a winger in the truest sense, like absolute gas, chasing kicks, tied to his touchline and just burning people. And we've seen so much of that. And now he's stepping in field. He's powerful. He's like, it's the full suite of tricks, isn't it? It's just so cool to watch. What a player.
One thing Matt Banahan mentioned on commentary, which is a really good point, is like he's really good at avoiding contact. Like the way he like puts the brakes on, or you never see him get bundled into touch, which is perhaps is why he's doing what he's doing so consistently, is because he's being given the ball and he never like that's how many good wingers have there been that just like someone like Duhan van der Merwe might be unstoppable, but you see him like get bundled into touch. It's like, come on, mate, have a bit about you. Whereas like he has that intelligence that other wingers don't have, I think. Yeah, so good. One other guy to quickly shout out from this, maybe before we talk about the rather mouth-watering prospect of this Sunday. Cameron Waukee was absolutely fantastic. We spoke about, I know Lebel wasn't as consistent, and Tom has been out the French side for a while. Obviously, Waukee was a mainstay of a very good French team. Back at Bordeaux this year, he was, I thought, just fantastic. I mean, he's had a really good season. You've called out his line-out work a lot, which is brilliant. But everything, defensively, ball in hand, line-out, he was, just almost forget like what an incredible player he is on top form, and why they basically kind of shoehorned him in a little bit into that second row for a while, just because of how good he could be. Thought I loved seeing him kind of sparkling on Sunday. There's something kind of joyous about him, like going back to, well, he's from Massey, isn't he? But going back to where he kind of came through and playing with his best mates, guys like Jalabert, and just the smile on his face like the whole time. He just, like, there's something joyous about the way he's, having had a period where he looked a bit miserable and kept getting yellow carded and stuff, to now be showing all his amazing talents and doing it with a smile on his face is really nice to see. I think I'm enjoying it.
Yeah, totally agree.
Speaking of the line out, the Leicester team selection, I kind of previewed it. I'm annoyed. I like look at the margin of victory, but the first couple of tries, like one comes from a scrum penalty that Archie van der Vlier is 21, I think, at loosehead. Carly Sardi kind of gets a scrum penalty. There's I can't remember who scores it, but it's the second or third try. Leicester actually get a hand in at the line out, and it just bounces straight to Maxime Lamotte, and Lamotte charges down the wing. It's, that the first couple of tries are, well, a bounce to the ball where the line out did cock up, but they got away with it, and then one's a scrum penalty, and they're off and running. So if Leicester had gone full noise there, maybe they wouldn't have had the scrum penalties. Maybe they would have got a bit of joy at line out. And actually, it was the Leicester line out that didn't function very well, and Bordeaux were just able to pick them off. I don't think it would have made a difference, but maybe it wouldn't have been quite the car crash in the first half that we. Maybe Leicester have made the right decision there. Well done them. But they're rugby players. They're paid. This is their job. I think they should play more often. There I am, heartless in the world of player care and player safety. Just get them playing.
Get them playing. I mean, also, if you weren't already aware, Rob is a Leicester fan, so there is some skin in the game and some supporter fairness, I guess, rather than just bagging some other team for the sake of it. You speak from a position of a frustrated Leicester fan, which is completely.
They've all
fair
got
enough.
a week off now, haven't they?
Yeah, they have. Anyway, your week off, you'll be in Bordeaux. What's the ticket situation? Do you know? This is when my magic laptop of the 2003 World Cup would have come in.
2023 World Cup.
Yeah, that was the glory era of buying tickets. So what have you got to do?
Oh, but I've blocked out my day. Well, no, not blocked out my day, but I've blocked out around when the ticket opens. So there was a pre-sale starting Monday morning, which was for season ticket holders, or abonné, which is the season ticket holders. But you could only buy one per season ticket holder. I noticed that when I was looking at it last night.
Oh, wow. Okay.
So there is a good chance that there will be some open. There was a load of stuff around basically like season ticket holders won't guarantee their typical seat because there's, being an EPCR competition, there's different sections that go to different, I assume stuff goes to sponsors, but also they have to give 25% to the visiting team, which sounds like quite a lot.
That's a massive amount, mate.
Or like they have to at least allocate it, so there may be some later in the week if Toulouse don't take their full allocation. But bearing in mind it's
that feels unlikely.
What is it, 2.5 hours on the train?
Yeah.
3 hours on the train from Toulouse to Bordeaux. I can't quite see that happening. But they open up free for all. I'm expecting some sort of ticket site crash at 1 o'clock this afternoon. I've also got to check my time zones. Like just and make sure that I'm not logging on an hour after it's happened, being like, damn it. But yeah, I think.
Well, good luck.
I'm hoping to get some.
Quite a nice worst case scenario though, that you'll be able to go to somewhere that's absolutely buzzing. It'll be but hopefully it comes through for you.
Also, European Cup, you mentioned it, possibly the game of the season. Cheapest tickets are €10.
Still, that's awesome, isn't it?
Or the reduced tariff is €5. I don't know what you have to. I think if you're like over 65, or I don't know, a student or a kid, €5. Ridiculous.
Bordeaux, Toulouse, fantastic. That's a bit more like it, isn't it?
I bet the half-empty stadium at Quins. I wonder how much that was for not the game of the season on Saturday.
That was strange. Yeah, that was very, very unusual. Bordeaux, Toulouse. Then what? Like, I don't really know how you call this beyond the cliches and the sort of usual tropes of where it might be won or lost. But
I was going to go bold then and just go like Bordeaux are winning it, but then I kind of actually doubted myself. And again, it's like the DuPont factor, the Ramos factor of champion quality. Can they, like, that could get them over the line? Ultimately, what could get them over the line is Thomas Ramos's goal kicking. I think that could feasibly be the difference. Luku kicked pretty well on Sunday. I still think Jalibert a better goal kicker than Luku, but never mind. I think maybe it's to take pressure off Jalibert and let him do his thing, and the net gain of that is better. But Ramos is 85-90%. So, and Luku is not generally, but that could be where it's won and lost. Like thinking back to the last quarter final I saw at Stade Francais, I think Luku did miss a few kicks against Quins when Quins won. Yeah, and that was a pretty close game in the end. So yeah, that is genuinely where it could be won and lost.
Do you know what? There's going to be a lot of Bordeaux fans. Any Bordeaux fans who are regular listeners, the key thing here, mate, is whether you get a ticket. If you get a ticket, this is Toulouse's. We know. Unless this is the time to break the duck. Still never seen Bordeaux win at Chaban Delmas. Is that correct?
Never seen them win.
Seen them lose to Exeter, Harlequins,
Lyon.
Yeah.
And Leicester.
Rovigo and Leicester.
Leicester Shags. So a team that was like the Leicester kids plus Genge and Ford. So it's not like, yeah. That was also the early, like Chiefs weren't the powerhouse then, were they?
No,
not quite.
No, not at all. It was like, that was a long time ago. But I mean, I almost just think that it's one just to sit back and just completely enjoy. Because you talk about the Ramos factor, the DuPont factor, like we've mentioned him so many times, but Jalabert, LBB, like up there, maybe even beyond those factors, the way they're playing at the moment. Like, for the first time, they are maybe the trump cards. I saw Noel McNamara was interviewed in the Bordeaux attack coach, and he said, you've got Dupont, the best player in the world, the best goal kicker. You've got Jack Willis, he said the best player in the top four, but in the top 14. Oh, it's so exciting. Yeah, and I don't know what more there is to say. I think one thing we did see, although Toulouse were a little bit changed up, but both problems have had a couple of question marks around the pack, which are maybe not, or perhaps Bordeaux certainly at scrum time shade it a little bit. Like Sadie's been in fantastic form for the last, this season really, hasn't he?
We didn't mention Big Ben's
Big
try.
Ben. Oh my God.
Jesus Christ.
Ben Tamafuna already made 80 metres.
What? I mean, it's believable.
He was, oh my God, Big Ben's try. A couple of other carries as well that he didn't score, but geez, it's so good to watch. You talk about the others being good to watch. It's not normal. The way that guy moves is it's so good. Yeah. I mean, he and him, I want to see, is Colom's injured, isn't he?
Oh,
Didn't he get injured in the game against Bordeaux?
He did.
That is, we could have been on for maybe the heaviest tight heads. Still could be. You could have Sardi, Tamafuna, Colomb, Aldegheri. You got the best part of a ton, basically, between four blokes. Oh, yeah.
Coleman actually played really well as well, in the loose.
He's been great. I was a bit of a non-believer, Adam Coleman, from his time at London Irish. He's been awesome for Bordeaux.
But ball in hand as well. He was kind of doing Tongan combo with him and Big Ben was working quite nicely. Yeah, I think they do shade it at scrum time because Sardi has developed some sort of he's turned his form around because he was budget the last couple of years, and all of a sudden he seems to be actually what you'd expect from a South African tight head prop that's that size. I think that's possibly where they do shade it. Poirot's playing really well. Poirot's dad worked in the NHS. Did you hear that fact?
No, I did not. That's amazing.
Yeah, they were talking about how Andrew Brace was talking to him in English, and his English very good because his dad came over from Nigeria, I think, is what they said, and worked in the National Health Service. I was like, how am I only finding this out?
That's a great
The amount of times we've had to hear that, Thibaut Flamont played fly half for Loughborough 15. Why am I not hearing
Gaetan and Croydon?
Yeah, Gaetan and Croydon. Why am I not hearing that his dad worked at the NHS? That's an amazing fact.
That's superb.
I also hadn't realised he'd retired from international rugby.
Yeah.
I didn't realise he retired at Dilakavar Mahina
or something.
Yeah, he retired 26, 27, didn't he? But also playing really well this season. I do think the line out again, the Bordeaux line out seems to be really good until it's not. But I do think with Flamont in there, Cross, you've got defensively that I'd back the Toulouse line out on their own ball more than the Bordeaux line out, and I would, I mean, they're both brilliant defensive line outs actually with Waukee and Coleman there. So, but I do think Toulouse might be able to pick off the Bordeaux line out maybe. I said a couple of weeks ago after the game at Matmut, where obviously Toulouse were a little bit weaker, I think Jalabert and Luku on their day, I think you win every game. I think the way they're playing at the moment, the way they control it, and which seems mad when you think the opposition has Antoine Dupont, and I'm going to go with Ramos rather than Entomac as the kind of man that controls the game. This is the who can control the game and who can play territory. I wonder if it might actually be quite a boring game. I don't mean boring like that. I wonder if we might see a lot more kicking than... I imagine there's quite a lot of people that are thinking this is going to be 55-60 as the final score, and I wonder if it'll actually be...
45-50.
Yeah, well, I know, late 20s, early 30s, and there'll be a lot more kicking and stuff like that, because I think there'll be a lot more tactics, and maybe Dupont is the trump card there because his kicking is so good. Maybe
we will see.
That's a big takeaway, isn't there? Maybe Antoine Dupont is the trump card.
Will kick well.
maybe the trump card on this pitch is the player widely regarded as one of the best players of all time. That's a real takeaway comment. That's the sort of insight people into French rugby that people tune into Rosboost Rugby for. Yeah,
Perfect.
that little those little
Untapped.
snippets of unknown info. Antoine Dupont is good.
Go on then. Who's going to win? One word.
Toulouse.
I'll go Bordeaux. Home advantage. Nothing more than that.
Yeah, that's good. Well, yeah, but the Rob advantage.
The Rob advantage.
The ironic of all those teams.
We'll know by 2 p.m. today. We'll know which way this result is going.
The ironic of all those times that I've seen Bordeaux lose at home to those like budget teams. Like even that Harlequins team didn't even have Marler and Kerr in it. You know, if the what is on paper the best club team of all time is the one team that I finally see lose to Bordeaux Stade Francais, then that'd be quite ironic.
Yeah,
I will also change my opinion on that about 50 times a day until Sunday afternoon. I think it's so tight, so close to cool,
so exciting. Can't wait. Just to round up the rest of the Champions Cup, then, from a French perspective, sadly Toulouse's kind of derby opponents, my boys Castres, the European dream is no longer alive. They put up a more than decent fist of it at Franklin's Gardens.
You said last week cast by 1 point, and at half time it was looking good.
It was looking all right. And when Karawalevu, the interception, I was like, this is on here. They are rattled. Alas,
was that a phantom knock on? I don't.
No. It came off his shoulder, I think, didn't it, from the restart, which is why it got called back. And there was no advantage. It was literally one pass. Yeah. So I was a bit frustrated. You got it. The referee there's just got to kind of get the feel of the game, hasn't he, and let it go.
Was the try scorer Fijian? Yes. Right. Play on.
But yeah, we had a bit of a kind of cast. You mentioned it. You dropped me a WhatsApp like greatest hits. We saw a bit of violence. We saw the concurrent yellow cards in the first half, which actually that's some going to have two at the same time in the first half.
Mate, if any team can get concurrent yellow cards in the first half at any point in a game, it's Cast.
Yeah, so that was good to see. Vuate Karawalevu was again just utterly ridiculous. He looks like, in a game with some very high quality players, he again at times looks like he's just kind of having a laugh on his own. He is just an absolute phenomenon. And I saw you put out a tweet, I think, pleasing that a lot of other people got to see that, because quite rightly they may not have known what a baller this guy is. And at points, Castres were fantastic, but they also were a bit sloppy in the Northampton 22 and a few dodgy defensive reads, and just slipped away a little bit. But it feels like there's a little bit of a kind of Castres Northampton rivalry bubbling, which is quite good fun.
Possibly a little bit one way, that rivalry, unfortunately.
But, a little bit, but they've, I think, given where Castres have been in seasons gone by in the Champions and Challenge Cups. I like the fact that they are now hopefully and hopefully it continues, and it's something they want to do, whether it be in the Champions or very possibly Challenge Cup next year, depending on how the rest of their league season goes. A team that kind of put sides on notice in big tournament games rather than a bit of an also ran. They were decent.
They had 57% possession.
Yeah, it doesn't surprise me. It did feel like they had a decent amount of ball.
I was just looking at the key stat. Northampton Saints penalties conceded 6. Cast penalties conceded 12. I mean,
that's not bad for Cast.
It's low. It's just double the opposition. So
yeah. Yeah,
and obviously 3 yellow cards. They did come into it with the worst number of, or best, maybe the best number of, the highest number of penalties conceded in the whole tournament. 24 out of 24. They were the worst offenders for penalties conceded, which is magical stuff from Cast. I'm really, really pleased that Cast have displayed full Castness in this tournament this year. Did they nil Edinburgh?
I think
they scored 5 points, but they also completely they managed to get pumped at Gloucester despite dominating the line out. It's just
Yeah.
Amazing.
Yeah, yeah. As you said, I think the greatest hits for this cast team. I do genuinely. Maybe I'm sort of my blue tinted glasses, but I do think, assuming they don't lose too many of this team next year, which I don't think they will, I think like they are building a pretty solid side for a number of years.
Mate, they've made some amazing signings.
Yeah,
Papali'i, Dalton Papali'i, that is. Ringay. Are they signing another? Are they signing like Braden Enna or someone like that, like another Crusader?
Enna went to Perpignan. I
did it.
Yeah,
I feel like they're signing another Kiwi.
You might be right, but they'll get they'll have Louis Lebrun back as well, hopefully.
Yeah,
I think had basically a whole season out.
Well, and hopefully Collie will be fit.
Yeah, very true. It makes a huge difference. The scrum hasn't been quite as dominant as it has been in previous years. And then the other team, that did make it through in a bit of a thriller, it must be said, certainly at the end, Toulon, and an incredibly relieved / emotional looking Pierre Mignoni, it must be said, at the end. And on comms, they were like, no wonder he had to take some time out for stress. He looked like he was about to keel over, Pierre. 28-27 against the Stormers. Bit of drama, controversy, whatever you want to call it at the end, with the sort of try being held up by Olivon, who was amazing again, as he has been since he's come back from injury. Yeah, it was. It felt like a proper kind of just a great Champions Cup game. Actually, this round was, in spite of the blowouts, the quality of them from Toulouse and Bristol was such that it was a wicked round for a tournament that's been kind of bagged a bit, hasn't it, in recent times?
Yeah, I think it felt like one of those where they were trying to find every way to not award the try. Like the on-field decision was no try, and it's like, right, I am now going to disregard everything that I see that could be. That there were so many things. The Stormers, I assume, captain was kind of in the ear of Christoph Ridley saying, like, what about that? What about that? The main one for me is that Shiashvili is offside. Like I know he doesn't. Christoph Ridley's like, well, he doesn't affect play, does he? So he's there.
If you're offside in that millimeter of the pitch,
yeah, and if you get nudged by the ball carrier when you're in an offside position anywhere else on the pitch in any other second of the game, that is offside. But I mean, whether Olivon was right to do what he did and was in the that was clean, then whatever. But he held it up, and it was Olivon. I quite enjoyed how you had two players wheeling away. You had like Ben White wheeling away, and then one bloke from the Stormers wheeling away. It's like both going absolutely mental.
It's a double wheel.
I do think the Stormers. There's something about that that's like, I feel like there's enough there that Stormers should have at least had a penalty. Or
the game should have restarted, is what it felt like.
Yeah, I also don't know how he doesn't score it. Like how he doesn't. I think Olivon does hold it up, but I don't know how the Stormers guy doesn't get it down. There feels like there's enough space that he can put a ball on some turf. But there we go. Also, Sasha Feinbergen-Gomezulu bottled it, and he should have taken a drop goal. Rubbish.
Yeah, I think he probably should have taken a drop goal against a retreating 13 men.
Also,
whether he's rubbish or not, I'm not convinced by that.
Yeah, if you had anything about him, he would have flung it wide into. You've got to have an overlap somewhere against 13 men.
Yeah, the big question there, surely.
Job.
And I say this as someone who knows nothing about the Stormers, really. Why didn't he start?
Apparently,
if he's playing.
Apparently, someone said they're a better team. I'm not going to put this person under the bus, but someone who watches the Stormers and is prominent said that they are arguably a better team with the other guy at 10, which feels punchy. That's
certainly not how it looked when he came on. But there we go. Do little no-look grubbers and yeah. Anyway, Toulon march on to Glasgow, which, I mean,
there wasn't really enough evidence there to suggest that they can beat Glasgow, was there? I don't think Toulon.
No,
they didn't look so good it wasn't the most. I mean, great for them to get a win because they've not won in the previous 5 games, but there wasn't enough there that suggested they were back to their best. I know they've kind of. I mean, there's a scenario where they get through to a semi-final. Like it's not unfeasible they beat Glasgow, but I can't see it.
Yeah, I'd tend to agree. Therefore, it'll be if not on paper, if you haven't seen Toulon, on the way that they've played for the last 3 months, it'll be a massive shock.
Yeah.
Like I would have, I'd say it would be in the realms of like had Castres gone through and beaten Glasgow, maybe even in more so. Just because they haven't clicked at all, have they?
No.
No Serran as well, which makes a huge difference. As amazing as Ben White is, but yeah, we'll see. We'll look forward to being proved wrong on that yet again, and Mignoni to go even closer to a heart attack. But good on him, and fair play to Toulon for getting through that. What have we got? Oh, Challenge Cup. A little bit of French goings on, bit of drama. Montpellier, pretty handy win over Perpignan. Probably, depending on how they approach it, probably favourites for the tournament at the moment. They're looking really good. And then the other bit, Rob Poe,
Don't know, mate. Didn't see it.
Out to Zebre.
Didn't see it. And the good news is that no one saw it because it wasn't on Premier Sports.
Yeah.
So I don't know what you're on about. Didn't happen. It's a half decent Poe team as well.
It was.
Gaeton played. Brewery on the bench.
Grandidier, was he playing?
Grandidier played, yeah.
Yeah.
Disappointing.
Yeah. Anyway, I quite like I was not sure to start with. I quite like that Poe stripy football shirt kit thing. It's a bit niche, but I kind of quite enjoy it.
It's all right. I tell you what I don't like. I don't like the Bordeaux kit.
I can.
That's too much going on. Too much of a departure from their colours as well, I think.
Yeah, fair enough. La Rochelle is still in the tournament. They got a win away at Newcastle. I saw Paul Edison's tweet. They had 4 props on the bench, which was
amazing stuff. Wasn't
it? Which is a lovely touch from them.
They had 4 props on the bench, and they had. See who made his debut?
Yes, our man, our favourite restaurant
owner, our favourite La Rochelle restaurant owner's son.
Doesn't matter that he won loads of caps for France and Champions Cups and top 14s. Yeah, John Baptiste. Is it Michael?
Sasha
Elisald. Yeah, really, that's very cool. So yeah, good sneaky little win with a very changed team up there.
Just realised he's scrum half. I think he is.
I'm going to assume so.
Which means that they had, not only did they have 4 props in a 6-2 split, they also had 2 scrum halves as their 2. Because it was a Kuyo. Diego Jordan has 3 kicks in that game, which is mind blowing for me. But yeah, quite good result for La Rochelle.
Yeah, I think it is. Yeah,
they could win that tournament. They could win that. I know Montpellier should be favourites now for the whole tournament. Montpellier or Ulster, or maybe even your boys Benetton.
Well, Chiefs got to go there this Sunday, so we'll see.
You're not going back. Yeah. You're not going back to Treviso.
I did have a look. It was the flights were a nightmare. Yeah, it was not ideal. Well, I think Exeter will go in pretty reasonable numbers. The
big story though, tell you who won't be winning it, who should have been winning it. Stade Francais.
Crazy.
Losing to Dragons.
Yeah, remarkable. I mean, again, I don't know very much about the Dragons, but I know they're second bottom of the URC have had a kind of almost permanently, it seems, terrible time of it. And where I know Stade Francais were, they kind of changed up their side a bit for the Challenge Cup, as they have throughout, but it's still a strong side with a lot of quality. A team with a vast budget. I imagine the differential between the 2 playing squad budgets is pretty amazing.
Dragons last won a URC game on the 1st of January against Scarlets.
There you go. Yeah, awesome result. I saw Louis Forsans was interviewed afterwards and was like, "It's a disgrace. We've lost to the Dragons. It's a disgrace." But yeah, and fair play to Dragons fans were going absolutely mad in the stand. It looked great fun. Wyn Jones last try, who I forget was starting prop for the Lions, wasn't he, in the 2021 tour? Aaron Wainwright was played. So they kind of went fairly well loaded for it. And I think, why not? Why not? Good on them. That's all I say. I think that's too much. It's not just on Leicester and what happened with their selection, which you can totally get, because
To be
And the
fair, they have
Dragons
literally
not going to win
nothing
the
to play
URC.
for.
Yeah, but yeah, you've got if you don't try, you don't know, do you? And fair play to them. Yeah, some Larry Newport fans in Paris rolling around, I imagine, at the weekend. Yeah, big shock there. What else do we need to wrap? Anything else, Rob?
What are the games? Who's playing who next weekend?
Toulon play Glasgow, Bath, Northampton from a Champions Cup. Obviously, the big one we've spoken about a fair bit already. And then in the Challenge Cup, I think La Rochelle go to Ulster
Friday night.
Yeah.
Montpellier host Connacht on Saturday, and that's it for the French teams. There's only 2 left, only 3 left in the Champions Cup, 2 left in the Challenge Cup. So dwindling numbers.
Yeah, but a belting weekend coming up. Rob, how much of it will you be able to catch, or are you sort of under pain of death to only, if you're going to the game on Saturday, on Sunday rather, it will be that's your lot, I'm going to assume.
Yeah, I'd imagine so. Also hoping to go to Santa Million on Saturday. So
very nice.
Yeah,
very civilized. So yeah, let me know if you see Michael Oliver, the Premier League referee, on the train, as I did when I got on the train in Santa Million last year.
All right, keep an eye out for him and Mark Selby.
Right, back in a sec with a bit of Pro Day there. Okay, Rob, Pro Day Dirt. A couple of, big sort of headlines, I guess, to start with. 2 sides that got big wins or good wins at the weekend as expected. Brive dusted Provence, who are now 5 games without a win, which is...
Provence's kids. They sent a terrible team.
Did they go full youth, did they?
Yeah. It just wasn't a very strong side.
They're looking to consolidate for their home games, I guess, given the kind of patch they're in at the moment.
Yeah,
which makes sense. But I think the big headline came out yesterday is that Courtney Laws is going back to England. He's not going to extend his stay at Brive. Sale apparently is the rumoured destination club.
They've tried to sign absolutely everyone. I saw Leicester Tigers, which I cannot believe is a true story, but that was on the French Rugby Pass. So. Yeah,
I think I saw Leicester had come in and maybe it not kind of worked out, but yeah, big courts will be looking to go out in style. I would hazard a guess the way Brive have kind of shifted momentum this season. It's not beyond the realms of possibility that he leaves Brive with, if not a winner's medal, then potentially a return to the top 14. You never know.
I think that's a real shame. I know I think it'd be a real shame if they did get promoted and he didn't play in the top 14, just because he was obviously brought in to help them do that. And I'd quite like to see him in the top 14 and show, because he's been so good. He was England captain when he left. So you'd expect him to be one of the best players in a second division, but I'd love to have seen him play for them in the top 14.
Yeah, completely agree with that. And then another guy who has played in the top 14 and obviously wasn't able to keep them up last year, but Mako Vunipola is also leaving Van, who got a big win away at Agen, 49-22, which I don't think necessarily expected that margin of victory, regardless of how superb they've been. He's going back to Leicester.
Yeah, one that just seems scarcely believable, doesn't it? I saw someone saying that I think it was Ben Coles is the kind of journalist, his podcast or whatever he does, kind of saying just signings that just don't seem right, like players in kits that seem incongruous. Mako Vunipola is right up there. Mako Vunipola for Leicester is one of those, definitely. I did see when they announced the Van team on Twitter, the kind of supporters Twitter for Agen said, "Okay, very good April Fool. Now let's see your real team," because it was, I assume, out of kind of dark humour, because it was like full noise Van team, and it's like, damn it, sort of thing. Which I quite enjoyed. They sent a really strong side to Agen. That could also be Agen done and dusted now.
10 points off away now in 6th, I think they are.
Yeah.
In 5 games to go.
5 games, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely. And then the other big news, which I don't know if you mentioned,
Van have qualified for the semis, by the way. They've already qualified for the semis. So
99 points currently, which is a decent effort to put it mildly. Um, the other, so I don't know if you mentioned this last week. So if you did, apologies. But there was a big altercation, some pretty unsavoury stuff at Aurillac last week with the journalist from Biarritz.
yeah, who was from Aurillac.
Really?
It was it's Mark Palmier's brother, and Mark Palmier played at Aurillac, but they were both from Aurillac, and he was reporting for Ici Pays Basque, and he got attacked while he was or hit in the face while he was
Christ.
While he was doing the reporting.
I didn't realise he was Mark Palmier's. I knew his name was Thomas Palmier. I didn't realise the family link.
Yeah. Apparently unconnected to Thomas Palmier, Mark Palmier leaving Aurillac for Grenoble, but
okay,
yeah,
interesting. But Pro League has kind of continued to outdo itself this week. So I saw a little bit of rumblings of this online the other day, but Francisco Isaac has given a quite literal blow-by-blow account on Rugby Pass to say have a look. Nevers, who beat Béziers, massive win. They hadn't won in 4 months, something vast. Nevers' form has been atrocious. 9
games they'd lost.
They snuck past Béziers 44-41 in what sounds like a bit of a belter. But that was not the kind of crux of the article. It was that there was a massive post-match scrap in the car park after the game. Have you not seen this?
No.
Oh, what? Right, yeah, massive fight, which resulted in a fight. Well, a kind of according to, and I'm kind of quoting Francisco here. So go and read his article because it's a much better way of of displaying it than I'm going to give. But yeah, apparently the initial scrap was between Jason Fraser of Nevers and Ontanuku Pauta, who is not a small man.
That's not a man I want to get in a fight with.
No. So that apparently was what kicked it off. But then it escalated further, and Nevers prop, and I'm gonna apologies to him because he's had a tough enough week of it already, without me butchering his name. Ilya Kaikatashvili.
Yeah.
Got in a scrap with Béziers prop Youssef Amrouni, which resulted in Kaikatashvili with a broken nose, reportedly from a headbutt. And then, and this is where it gets a bit mental, is that they then, I think it was supposed to be some post-game function. They decided, nah, let's not do that. So they got on the bus. Kaikatashvili apparently then gets in his car and starts trying to go after the bus to get an apology. And eventually decides against it. Yeah, but yeah, he's had a broken nose, went on pursuit of the team bus. Eventually it put an end. And apparently Nevers have, in true kind of lower league rugby style, have not filed an official complaint. They've just decided that they're just going to...
Let bygones be bygones.
They're going to let it lie. But yeah, incredible.
I've missed that completely. That's amazing.
Yeah, we'll read.
Oh no, we shouldn't glorify violence here, Richard.
But
sometimes,
yeah, we'll repost it.
Francisco, big units getting involved in that, isn't there?
The big units, yeah. It's not a little bit of push and shoving.
Rooney is not a small bloke. I can't imagine Kaitashvili or whatever his name is a small bloke being a Georgian prop.
So yeah, that was the other bit of news beyond the obvious results that I wanted to call out. Tension's pretty high with those two teams in a bit of a relegation dogfight.
Well, Béziers are 3 points ahead of Dax in 15th. Mont-de-Marsan, so you talked about Aurillac being in a scrap. Aurillac lost to Mont-de-Marsan away. I think Aurillac, I had it a minute ago, Mont-de-Marsan on a table of games from this year would be 6th. And Aurillac would be, yeah. So they've only lost 3 games since Christmas, of the 9 games since Christmas, whereas Aurillac have only won 3 games since Christmas. So yeah, Mont-de-Marsan not doing too badly since the turn of the year. And they are now 5 clear of Dax, 2 weekends out from the big Lond derby. But that was the kind of the other big result, the other derby or mini derby, not that Mont-de-Marsan v Aurillac derby, but Grenoble losing at home to Valence Romans. Some good footage of the Damiers, the 16th Damiers, kind of on their away days up in Grenoble. They kind of took over various bits. It looked quite good fun. They look like a good set of away supporters. They kind of go everywhere and they bring quite a lot of noise. But really good game, the one on FR UK. Valence Romans beating Grenoble, which is a fantastic result. I think Grenoble have started to look like their team looked better again. They are still missing. I went through. They are, like, if you look at the caliber of players they're missing and or have got game time from this season, there are still so many top quality players on top, like big regulars from last season that have barely played. Like not just that, but Gershwin Mouton's played like 2 games. I had more than that, but there was like a load of their good players from last year have barely played.
Yeah. Anything else in terms of rounding out the results? I think we've covered most of the big ones there. Angoulême pretty convincing over Carcassonne, who I think now they're 9 shy of Dax in 15th. Yeah, unfortunately for them, that's looking insurmountable. Oyonnax,
That felt like a winnable one as well.
yeah,
And they've just been pumped by it. That's the best result for Angoulême at home by a lot. Like Angoulême have got the second. They're the second worst home team in the league, but other than Carcassonne. So the fact that Carcassonne couldn't get the result there doesn't. But
yeah, no good for them. Oyonnax and Colomiers both very comfortable over Biarritz and Dax, as to be expected, and I think they're probably the main headlines. Looking ahead to next week, what have we got? Oh, it's Saturday night.
Oh yeah,
Oyonnax v Brive, which I think that is on FR UK.
Is it?
Is it? I thought it was. I feel like I recognise seeing that, or remember seeing that rather, on the kind of FR UK schedule. Let's have a quick look. Oh, no, it's not up yet. Don't know.
It's not up yet.
We will see. But I guess if there is a game live, it will be that one on Saturday evening, which I'm guessing will be alongside what Champions Cup game is that? Oh no, there isn't. Oh no, it'll be after Leinster v Sale. So if you've got your fill of that, you can switch
a more
over.
Competitive game, I fancy. Well, I don't know. Actually, Leinster have struggled a little bit, haven't they?
They have. Any other standouts next week? Just having a little look through the list. Ooh, Dax, Angoulême, big game for Dax. Biarritz Nevers, that's surely that's the big one, isn't it?
Yeah.
That will be quite instructive.
Valence Romans Colomiers.
Oh, superb. One of Valence's many top of the table clashes to finish the season. Yeah, very good. Okay. One other massive top of the table clash this weekend is the penultimate round of the regular season of Nationale, everyone's favourite third tier, which has endured a bit of a choppy time of it with two teams, at least for now, going to the wall. But it's Albi v Nice at the top of the table. The top 6 is done, and I think actually the top 2 is. I think Nice are 7 clear of Massey in third. But Albi, so some bragging rights to play for.
They are 6 clear of Chambéry in third.
Chambéry.
Yeah.
But I'm pretty sure that top 6 is done, isn't it, by quite some distance. Chambéry, Massey, Périgueux, Narbonne with the others. But big top of the table.
Only 2 points between Chambéry and Narbonne, third to 6th. So Narbonne v Périgueux this weekend as well. And then Périgueux go away, host Albi. So there's some interesting games still in terms of trying to work out who finishes where in that top 6. Who gets the home barrage would be interesting. And
some of that may well be streamed on YouTube. So keep an eye out. I'm not entirely sure on Rugby Rama. Okay, that's done. We got no top 14. Shall we come back for a few Petit-Fours?
Yes.
Rob, what has caught your eye this past week? Anything exciting?
Well, shall I do a run through of the best April Fools that I saw on whenever it was, last Wednesday.
Go for it. I've got one of those, which is possibly the best and worst.
Go on.
We'll see if they're on your list. This is Stade Francais. Stade
No.
Francais put out a tweet saying they'd sold out the game against the Dragons, which just feels so like counterproductive. Yeah,
that's quite rude. Okay, Rugby Rama did their one was Didier Deschamps is going to join Fabien Galtier's coaching team after the 2026 World Cup. Quite like that one. Did you see the Castres one?
No.
Obviously, there was big announcements last week about Celine Dion playing some comeback gigs in Paris, playing Paris La Défense. Castres had a thing that basically was the same poster but changed it to Stade Pierre Fabre, which I really
fantastic.
enjoyed.
That's good.
Rugby Pass France had Stade Toulousain to become Union Toulousain, which I quite enjoyed. Montpellier did a special. I didn't realise this. Montpellier are 40 years old. Montpellier Het Royal Rugby. I didn't realise they were so young. But they did a special collector's jersey that was Occitanie themed. And I feel like that was everyone fell about the place that I've got no idea. I think there was maybe some political things, or there was a dig at Toulouse, maybe, or something like that. Maybe they were trying to claim they were the capital of the Occitanie region. I don't know. Quite a few. I saw CS Nuiton in Ferrara, but quite a few clubs did this, both in France and in the UK. Mocked up a new stadium, but CS Nuiton was basically a brand new stadium in an empty field. It was quite. I presume their field, their ground at the moment is in a middle of nowhere in some farmland, so it looked like that. The On Armada, the supporters group for Section Paroisse, said they were disbanding. This is some great banter here. Disbanding because they brought too much atmosphere, too much travelling further. They were too serious, and their love for the jersey of Pau was too excessive, so they were disbanding. Le French Flair had Toulouse relegated to Pro D2 due to an LNR ruling, which is quite believable, to be fair. Entre les Poteaux had Antoine Dupont Crusaders, which I quite enjoyed. There was quite a not French rugby, but I saw Sam Tompkins was announcing that he was coming out of retirement on a short-term deal for Wigan. And obviously the Good Friday game is like Wigan St Helens is like the big one. It's like starting this Friday, which I think got quite a lot of people being like, oh, Sam Tompkins coming back. The one I did see is US Senoise, which is La Seine-sur-Mer, which is near Toulon, basically. And it was posted at like 5 o'clock, or it specifically said in their post, it's after 6 o'clock, and you've been subjected to loads of April Fools today. They announced the signing of Marn Onu and Mathieu Bastereau on a 5-year deal from next season. It's like,
missed the boat.
You've missed the boat. I'd like that can't be true. So why are you now trying to shoehorn it in? But yeah, those were the best one. I think the best one, the one that tickled me most, was the Celine Dion Stade Pierre Fabre. I thought the Didier Deschamps one from Rugby Rama, that's quite good. That is quite good.
Yeah, nice.
I did have quite a lot of people coming up to me over the weekend saying, "I can't believe you had Johnny Wilkinson on your podcast over the week last week," which seemed to have got quite a lot of people.
Something to strive for.
So some of them very good friends of ours, Richard, and some of them related to me. So yeah, got quite a lot of people.
Fair enough. I did quite enjoy it when I saw that. I was like, there was a split second. I was like, oh, that's a bit rude the week I'm away, getting Johnny on, but there we go.
Who knows? Maybe it'll happen. We did tag him.
Maybe it'll happen. It'll be the boy who cried wolf.
Yeah.
No one will listen. The only two I haven't seen too much, but one thing was there's been a first sit-down interview, the Daily Telegraph in Sydney, with Rocky Elson, since he kind of retreated back into, I think he's living up in like rural Queensland after he was handed a 2-year jail sentence by a French court for his time at Narbonne, which I'll be honest, I know we've discussed a few times. I still don't quite understand the ins and outs of it. But yeah, he's chatting and looking very Australian, it must be said, in one of those sort of like swamp, like, like Northern Territory kind of
the Akubra.
I don't think he's got an Akubra, but like the short sleeve kind of pale khaki shirt, like ranger shirt. That's what I'd call it.
Looking like Steve Irwin.
Yeah, that's basically it. Yeah, that kind of clobber. And then the other thing was the game at Franklin's Gardens was Geoffrey Palis's 250th for Castres.
Oh, fair.
which is a pretty decent effort. And there are a couple of Castres fans there with 2-5-0 scribbled via permanent marker, it looks like, on some hastily purchased t-shirts to mark the occasion. So yeah, congratulations to him.
I've got two other Petit-Fours. One is from Rugby Amateur, and it's Le Stade Laurentin. Oh, they stayed up in Regional 2, but they are outside a like what looks like a service station or a supermarket, and one of their players just tackling a bollard. And there's a video of him tackling the bollard, and the next photo is him with a massive ice pack on his shoulder. It's also like it's because it's got one of the kind of advertising like triangles around it. It looks a bit like a tackle pad, and he just goes for it. That it took me a while to work out, and I was like, oh no, he is actually just tackling a bollard. The other one is from Chateau Pepusque. Do you know who Chateau Pepusque is?
Is that Urios's chateau?
It is indeed, Richard. Well done. Advertising. So this weekend, the 12th of April, Le Grand Table de Pepusque is approaching. You don't need to be too much of a linguist to work out some of this stuff. It's un moment convivial, de bonnes vins et beau échange. So if you can sign up for tickets for a convivial occasion with a big table, excellent wines, and some beautiful exchanges with Christophe. He will be there chatting through the wines. That sounds like maybe I should work out where it is and go there. I think it is actually at Bordeaux, isn't it?
Oh, surely you can't get along to that. That would be amazing.
That would be. Do you reckon that's okay in terms of not doing rugby things with the girlfriend?
Yeah.
Do you think that's no, it's in Languedoc-Roussillon.
Okay.
Damn it.
Next time.
That would be class. But yeah.
That would be quite something, wouldn't it?
If you happen to be in the Languedoc-Roussillon region this weekend, get yourself down to Christophe Urios's chateau for his Grand Table.
Not too, okay. Sort of between, just looking at it on a map, kind of between Carcassonne and Narbonne.
Yeah.
There you go. All right. Okay, I think that's us done for another week. You can follow us at Rosbiff Rugby pretty much everywhere. X, Instagram, Blue Sky, TikTok, all the usual places you waste your time when you should be doing something more productive. Email us, rosbiffrugby@gmail.com.
Got a few emails to reply to. Apologies if you're listening and I haven't replied to you. I completely forgot to do that over the weekend.
We'll get back semi-promptly. That's our promise. You may or may not hear back from us. And then I guess, Rob, all there is to say is best of luck with your ticket hunt today. I fully expect you to be using some of those aforementioned channels should you not be able to snag a ticket through the regular sale. But yeah, I'm sure the ticketing gods will shine on you. Have a great time in Bordeaux, Saint-Emilion. Thank you. I will not be doing that. I don't know what I'll be doing. Something way more boring, I imagine. But there we go. Oh, it's London Marathon this weekend, isn't it?
No, surely not.
Is that next weekend?
I don't know.
Weekend after?
It's normally the end of April.
Is it the end of... Oh, I've been absolutely sold a dummy there. Oh, yeah. Never mind. Okay. Well, I won't be going to that either. But yeah, enjoy. Thank you for listening. I've been Richard. That has been Rob. We've been the Rosbiff Rugby podcast. Au revoir.
Au revoir.